Welcome to issue 265 of Critical Encounters, a podcast about Marvel Champions, a living card game by Fantasy Flight Games. Here, we take a good look at that most critical piece of the game, the encounter sets. We'll discuss those poorly understood characters, unfairly labeled villains, and their various plans to shape humanity and benefit the planet, as well as those so-called heroes intent on thwarting them. I'm one of your hosts, Maka, and today I'm here with Steve.
Hello!
And also Daniel.
Chris, what a delight to have you with us again. Your trial period is going swimmingly.
Why, thank you. And we've got actually another minion in the house tonight. So how are you doing, Scott?
I'm doing very well. I'm happy to be here and have no intentions whatsoever of sabotaging your efforts to be in the running.
Yeah, I'm watching you, boy. But while I've got my eyes on you, I've got a very important question. Daniel,
What's that?
What's on your mind tonight?
Contest winners. That's what's on my mind tonight, Chris.
Is it me?
It is not you.
Oh, man.
Unless you have a new alias, then maybe. But
yes?
You'll recall, dear listeners, that sadly, I'm unable to attend Con of Heroes this year, but I did buy a ticket. And so thanks to the organizers of that event, we were able to transfer it to a winner of one of our contests. And Steve, can you remind everyone what the contest topic was?
Yeah, we just asked folks to tell us how they would turn Con of Heroes into Con of Villains, or how they would improve villains, or, it was really wide open. It was sort of like, you needed a ticket? Tell us something.
Basically. Yeah. So of the thousands of people clamoring at the lair door to get my ticket, we narrowed it down to a handful, and then your little machine, Steve, randomly chose. What do you call it? The randomizer 9000 or something?
Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. Okay. So, we picked a winner. It picked a winner. Fate has decreed that the winner of our contest is Maisie Loron, which is awesome. Their real name is what? Can we say it?
Dalen Scott.
Dalen Scott. All right. So let me tell you Dylan's idea here. He says, what I would do is decrease the power of stage 1 of the villains. So right there, I was a little hesitant. I'm like, what? So health pool, attack, scheme, abilities, etc. And then increase everything except health in the second stage. I think most people like to get their setup running and watch it play out. The problem is second phase of the game, especially in 4-player, can feel like it drags on for a bit too long, which is sad because it's the most fun thematically to run 4. Couldn't agree with you more. That is absolutely 100% true. To compensate lower health, but increase the damage and scheme, maybe double, so it feels like a fight for your life and you're trying to beat the clock. This also makes it crucial to decide when to flip to the second phase, since it becomes a race to the finish. Seems like players already do this to an extent, but it's drawn out. So I thought it was pretty cool.
Yeah, it's an interesting idea.
Do you guys kind of grok what he's saying here? Like how that would work to be more of a pressure?
Yeah. Yeah, it would be interesting to see a stage 2 villain with a 6 attack.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, so, but only 5 health per player or something like that, right?
Yeah, that's interesting.
Guaranteeing it being, 2 more rounds after you flip? Right?
Or
something like that's what Dallin is looking for, right? Like speed up the game, essentially.
Yeah.
I like it. I liked it. A well-deserved ticket win.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
He wrote some more stuff as well, but that was kind of the gist of the whole thing.
Oh, okay. Got you. It was great. Thank you. Maybe you can get a bunch of heroes around a table, Dallin, and try this. See how it works. Report back to us, please.
If I were able to go, I would sign up for that.
There you go.
So the runner-up for the contest, their response was maniacal laugh competition. And I will insert the maniacal laugh competition that they referenced right here.
Maniacal laugh. Maniacal laugh. Maniacal laugh. Maniacal laugh. Maniacal laugh.
Well, congratulations, Dalen. and thank you to everybody who submitted. We have already reached out to him. He already knows about this,
Great.
so that he is excited and ready. And along with the ticket goes a game with me and Mike and anybody else. Maybe Scott, you join us. So
I'd love to.
Right on. Right on. Yeah, I was going to say one requirement is he has to make himself known to you.
Yes. Yeah.
And Chris, you and I can maybe get together on Saturday on the interweb.
Works.
Just play a quiet game together.
Take it nice and easy. Iron Man and Iron Man.
Yeah. There you go. All right. Well, so congratulations, but there's more than just contests here, Steve. What are we doing tonight?
Yeah, we're doing our Secret Dossier. I think this might be the first one of Volume 6. We wanted to keep it in the Age of Apocalypse theme. So, and Maka's on, and we know Maka loves a good harpooning. But we'd already talked about Ahab. So, Chris, what did you decide we had to do?
Well, if we're going to do a dossier, I figure we have to choose Harpoon's Nemesis hero. I mean, they call him Angel, but all that matters is he's Harpoon's Nemesis hero.
Right.
So I figure tonight we can talk about Warren Worthington III, a.k.a. Angel. So I'm going to do a brief lore talk here. We don't want to spend too much time on the heroes. So Angel first appeared in X-Men #1. He is one of the OG X-Men back in July of 1963, which puts him around 80 years old today. So he's doing pretty good for an nearly octogenarian. He is, of course, a millionaire playboy. Like so many of these heroes, have nothing better to do with their time. His family's company, Worthington Industries, is a Fortune 100 company that does business in various areas, including advanced avian technologies, periodicals, alternative fuels, and fancy frozen yogurts.
I didn't know that one.
Yep.
That's fantastic.
They're very diversified there. So the important thing to know about Angel, beyond the fact that, he can fly and stuff, is that he was defeated by Harpoon. Yeah. Harpoon beat him, pinned him to a wall, and eventually he lost his wings. As part of that,
love it.
And then after he lost his wings, he got really depressed, went off. He got kidnapped by Apocalypse, like you do. And he got brainwashed and changed up into Archangel, who became the premier horseman of Apocalypse's boy band of 4 horsemen of the Apocalypse, and he was Death. Now, eventually, of course, he came to his senses, and he became a hero again. And that was after he thought he killed Iceman, but turned out it was just a ice clone of Bobby Drake. And so, as all heroes do, you go seek revenge on the person that wronged you. And who he thought was friend and business partner, Cameron Hodge, is the one that actually set him up to have his wings amputated and set him down this spiral. So he did what any sensible hero would do and beheaded Cameron Hodge.
Classic hero move. Classic hero move.
I mean, who hasn't? Really?
As one does.
I mean,
I'm sure he made some quip too. Oops, he lost his head.
Yeah, I mean, if I had a nickel for every time. Yeah. But and then of course he went the straight and narrow, and then eventually he dropped the Archangel persona and became Warren Worthington III again. And then there was a time that Apocalypse was killed, and then it turned out that Archangel, aka Warren Worthington, had a death seed inside him. That started a process, turned him back into Archangel, and started turning him evil. But then Psylocke, who I think was his girlfriend at the time, stabbed him with a celestial life seed. Again, if I had a nickel for every time that happened.
Right.
So when she stabbed him with celestial life seed, it actually killed Archangel and Warren Worthington and created a whole new person.
And that's a really good band name now that I think about it.
That of course looked exactly like Warren. But he didn't have his memories and he was a little confused, so he actually thought he was an angel.
Oh,
so he went around thinking he was an angel, may have impersonated one or two of them, normal things. Eventually he does get his memories back. His wings start to turn back in. He goes to Clan Akaba to help, and they take his wings, but then they use those wings to clone him. and so he decides to merge with the clones. You know,
like you do.
Exactly. And somehow from all that, now he can switch between Warren Worthington and Archangel pretty much at will.
Okay.
So
How is it that the things always work out so well for the heroes?
yeah,
Like if that were a villain, he would not have turned out quite so nicely.
No.
I'm just saying.
No.
Well,
Nice.
really, I think we all know it's because he's rich. You know, rich people play by different rules. You know, you can behead people, apparently, if you're rich enough and get away with it. So
he's got real good lawyers.
Real quick, so that's his quick backstory. I'm going to give you a quick rundown on his powers.
Okay.
So in regular angel form, his big power is he can fly. I know that's a shock. He has a healing factor, and by healing factor I mean he's got magic blood that heals people. Probably be keeping in with the angel motif. I don't know.
Okay.
And then his body is adapted to be perfect for flying, such as he's got hollow bones. He can process food more efficiently. He doesn't store fat. And you want to know what else comes with being perfectly adapted for flying like a bird is? Because let me ask you a question. What is the first physical characteristic, besides flight, what is the first physical characteristic that you think of when I say bird?
Beak.
Feathers.
I feel like we didn't answer right.
Close. Peak physical condition.
Oh.
Because he's adapted for flying, he naturally
hollow
has
bones,
peak human strength, peak human speed, agility, flexibility, endurance, reflexes, coordination, balance, eyesight, and hearing. 'Cause reasons. So he can apparently like rip car doors off of cars, and I'm not really sure how hollow bones helps with that, but apparently.
Wouldn't hollow bones hinder him in a fight? Like, isn't it easier to harm him if you were to punch him?
Maybe his magic blood keeps the bones together.
That's what I was going to say. Maybe they're hollow, but they have increased strength despite lower density. I don't know. Marvel magic.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So
okay, cool.
All right, so that's it. He can fly. That's basically all he can do in regular angel form. He can fly with his pigeon wings. As Archangel, however, he's got a little bit a different bag of tricks. So in Archangel form, he's got, instead of those angel or dove wings, he's got techno-organic wings. So they're kind of metal. They let him fly up to Mach 1.
Whoa.
The wings are razor sharp, hence the whole decapitation thing. He can actually shoot flechettes out of his wings, and those flechettes have a neurotoxin on them, which paralyze anyone he hits. I guess his body just produces them. Maybe that's the magic blood component as well. And of course, because they're like super strong metal wings, he can use them as shields, and they've even helped block like a nuclear blast from him. And
wow.
he gets other bags of tricks like regeneration. He's got a hypersonic scream. And for a while, he had an energy halo, because if with a name like Angel, all your tricks have to be themed properly.
Yeah. So is it the techno-organic wings? Are they like part of the techno-virus, like Cable and stuff like that? Are they related somehow?
Not that I'm aware of, other than, Apocalypse is involved in, so the techno-organic virus was kind of involved in there. So there might be some connection to it, but it's not the virus or anything. It doesn't spread to anyone or consume him like Cable has to worry about. Effectively, they're just super strong, powerful metal wings.
Nice. And in Archangel form, is he susceptible to harpoons still?
I can only hope so. Next time I see him, I've got a harpoon with his name on it. If I remember Harpoon correctly, he can set his harpoons to do special things, and Ahab can key it to people's DNA. So I think if we combine those two, they can, and they both chuck the harpoon together at him.
Oh.
I'm pretty sure he's doomed. And then they can sing sea shanties or whatever they want afterwards. They beat him.
Chris, just like last time, what great learning. Thank you so much.
My pleasure.
But we usually don't talk lore without talking cards. So, Steve, you brought a handful of cards with you, didn't you?
Yeah, what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at the Angel... I'm sorry, we're going to take a look at the Harpoon Nemesis Hero set of cards found in the Age of Apocalypse wave. This was the second hero pack in that wave, and the precon came with protection. But we're just going to take a look at his gimmicks, how he plays, and some of our favorite cards, and then eventually we'll talk some decks that we all brought. So, Chris, why don't you tell us all about Warren Worthington and
I would love
start us
to.
off.
So Warren Worthington III, the 80-year-old superhero, is a mutant with a recovery value of 3, and he has an action called Regrowth. Says heal 1 damage from Warren Worthington III, limit once per round. So I guess that's his magic blood. And he comes with a hand size of 6, and he is rocking 12 hit points with very brittle hollow bones.
Yeah, 12 health, huh?
Again, peak physical form, just like a bird.
Nope.
Just like a bird. Okay. Now we should talk about his hero card, but there are 2 of them. Crazy. What? Yeah, it's a triple card. So Scott's here. Scott, why don't you tell us about Angel's card?
All right, Angel. Angel is an X-Force hero. He's not an X-Man. He's X-Force. He has 2 thwart, 1 attack, and 2 defense. He has a 5 card hand size, and the aerial trait with a hero ability of Angel of Life. Response: after you play an aerial event, draw 1 card. Limit once per phase.
Phase is important.
Yeah, notable because you can do it both in the villain phase and in the hero phase if you're playing protection cards or defense events.
Yeah. Okay, but he flips again into hero form. Daniel?
And becomes Archangel. That's some really nice art. I do like it.
It
That's
is.
cool.
Love the blues. Archangel is a 0 thwart, 2 attack, 3 defense, aerial X-Force traded hero. He comes with an acceleration icon.
What?
Yes. And he is the Angel of Death. His response is, after you play an aerial event, deal damage to an enemy equal to that event's printed cost. Limit once per phase. Hand size 5. There you go.
Okay, so the whole gimmick here is it's a triple-sided card. You can flip once per round, right? So you can flip from alter ego into either hero form. You don't have to go in any specific order, just like Ant-Man, just like Wasp. And he kind of has his thwarty version of Angel where he's drawing cards. And then he has his attacky version of Archangel where he's, his attack's better and he's dealing additional damage. Both hero abilities are keyed off of playing aerial events. So we'll probably see a lot of those in his kit.
Mm-hmm.
Do you guys have a favorite? Like, do you prefer one of the effects over the other?
I brought an Angel deck to the last Con of Heroes. It was a deck. And I think I spent a lot of my time in Archangel.
Okay.
Because there the events can do thwarty things and damagey things.
The bonus damage is pretty awesome.
Yeah. And since he is Justice, he can sort of deal with that crisis or that acceleration icon pretty easy.
I don't know. I like the Angel mode because it's a card game and I like drawing cards.
Yeah, good. How do we feel about that acceleration icon on one of these heroes? Like that's, Deadpoolish, but not quite.
It is.
Not quite.
Intense.
Yeah.
I love it.
I think it was a fantastic.
Yeah. It would be nice to see them leverage that more to give you a benefit, but give you a negative side to that benefit as well.
Yeah, I think it's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's such a cool way to grab the theme, right? Not only does he have 0 thwart on Archangel's side, but having that acceleration icon showcases that you're not, as Archangel, he's not exactly a good guy. He's just out there to basically do harm. It was a very interesting way to capture that and also give him a little bit of a downside to staying in Archangel.
Yeah, it's great. I think they did a very interesting job with all 3, I guess. All right, so let's look at some of these other cards. I'll go now. He's got 1 upgrade in his deck, which I think is fairly key when playing with it. I don't know if you guys agree, but this is his Techno Organic Wings. Yeah. All right, so 3 costs, superpower, and attack with the hero action. Exhaust Techno Organic Wings. If you are Angel, ready your hero. Your Archangel, reduce the cost of the next aerial event card you play from your hand this phase by 2. And it has an energy resource on it. Yeah, I think that's pretty cool. Like, sure, you get to ready up with Angel, which gives you additional thwarting or whatever you might be doing. You could defend and then ready up in the player phase. But the cost reduction for aerial events is pretty good, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. It makes it a lot easier.
Yeah, it's really no downside for a 3-cost upgrade, and you can even I think you can use Def Focus on it because it's a superpower card.
Yep.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm. The interesting thing is, it plays a little bit like Helicarrier, right? If you were in Archangel form, you can use this to reduce the cost of the next aerial event card you play from your hand this phase by 2. You can then, that doesn't mean you have to play it right away because it's an action. You can then flip to Angel form, play some card in Angel form, get the cost reduction, draw a card from Angel, right? You don't have to be Archangel when you play the event that it's reduced the cost for. So
Yeah.
that's kind of an interesting little mechanic you can use to your advantage. Okay. Cool.
It also ups the chances that you can play an aerial event as Angel and also as Archangel, which usually when I'm playing is my primary goal is to try to get one out on each side every turn because I want to both draw a card and deal damage with my hero every turn. And this having that extra discount really makes that possible.
Yeah. Yeah, honestly, this is one of the best hero upgrade cards I think around. It's a free ready or a cost reduction. I mean, there's not a ton that ready. I guess what Doctor Strange's cloak, maybe one or two others, but
Arm's cloak, Magneto's cloak, anybody with a cloak.
All the cloaks.
Apparently, it's cloaks.
All the cloaks and wings. Cloaks and wings.
Cloaks are in fashion these
Cloaks
days.
and wings.
Yeah. Cloaks and wings. Yeah.
In flying cars.
Oh yeah. So Chris, tell us about this fancy frozen yogurt business that he has too.
All right. So Worthington Industries, aka Froyo, is a 1-cost support with the location trait, and it has an action. Exhaust Worthington Industries. Shuffle 1 aerial card from your discard pile into your deck. If you are in alter ego form, draw 1 card. So, good way to cycle your deck, and if you're going to alter ego, you get economy out of it for being rich. I guess you're selling some stocks or something.
Drawn on that trust fund.
A little insider trading from Worthington Industries.
Yeah.
If you got it, flaunt it.
That's what he's doing in the artwork with those wings out in the board meeting.
Yeah. This is a great support.
I was gonna say it's fairly solid for an alter ego. I mean, it's not even alter ego support, but
Yeah.
it's like a kicker for alter ego. Yeah.
It reminds me of what I don't like about Logan's Cabin for Wolverine, where you have to go into alter ego and then you don't get to draw a card. It's like here you don't have to go in alter ego. You can still shuffle those aerial events that you want back into your deck every turn. And if you're an alter ego, you get to draw a card. It's so good.
Yeah. I kind of hope they do more of these.
Yeah, if you're near the end of your deck, you can pretty much guarantee which card you're going to get back in. It is definitely solid.
All right, Scott, you read Angel. Angel has feathers, some plumage.
He does. Let's talk about his adaptive plumage. As every male bird likes to do, he shows off his plumage to woo women. And it's very adaptive. It is a 3-resource event.
I wish that was the quote on the card.
Attack. I know.
That's on the card.
It has the aerial, attack, and thwart traits. Hero action, thwart. If you are Angel, remove 3 threat from a scheme and confuse an enemy. Hero action, attack. If you are Archangel, deal 4 damage to an enemy and stun it. So depending on what form you're in, you don't get to choose, right? Whatever form you're in when you play it, it's going to either be a thwart or an attack event and either confuse or stun the enemy.
Right. Now, this card had some questions and some rulings on it. Have you guys seen that?
Ooh.
I have not.
I have not.
I'm trying to think what the confusion would be.
Confusion's a good word.
Oh, well, yes, because it has the attack and thwart trait regardless of whether or not you are doing the thwart or the attack, right?
Right. So the question was, if I'm stunned, can I use the thwart ability, or what happens when I play the card?
Oh, okay.
Right.
I would say yes. I mean, traits like those 3 traits aren't conditions, are they?
They are not conditions.
So I would say if you're stunned, you could do this thwart event as Angel.
Daniel,
I hope that's true.
You would eventually be right. There was some back and forth on this.
I would eventually be right. Okay, great.
Yes. The first ruling was was different, and then there was I must have been some FFG discussion. So I'll just read what Alex wrote in October 2024. For adaptive plumage and event cards like it, you choose one of the two abilities to resolve when you play it. In most cases, only one ability will be able to be resolved because only the one matching your form would be able to affect a target. However, let's say you're Angel and Stunned, and you intend to play Adaptive Plumage. You have the option to choose either ability, resolving the Thwart ability as written, or removing the Stun status card by triggering an attack labeled ability, as the rules of Stun status cards allow you to do this when there's no valid target for the attack ability, which we agree also means which form you're in isn't relevant for status card removal as long as you're a hero. Now, that's a little confusing to me, but you can't resolve both abilities, as that is not how these cards are designed. And then Alex says, I made a mistake on an earlier email stating that the status cards must always be replaced, when in actuality, the player has a choice. So, if Angel is stunned and confused when playing Adaptive Plumage, he chooses which ability to trigger on Adaptive Plumage, then discards the appropriate status card, and that ends the action. So, yeah, you're choosing because you're picking one of the two effects, right?
Right. Because if you're Angel, you could still pick attack. It just wouldn't have any effect because you're not Archangel.
Right. And that would
yes,
clear the stun that you have
because you're stunned, you don't need a valid target, so you can still choose that even though there's no valid target because you're not actually dealing damage because you are already stunned. So you can still clear your stun. That's a really interesting ruling.
Yeah.
Now, I've got another question for it that I assume I know the answer to, but as always, there's question. So it boils down to, so it is an attack and a thwart event. Is that determined by what's in parentheses or by the trait? Because let's say I'm a justice player and I've got Sense of Justice out. Because it is a thwart event, could I use Sense of Justice to pay for it even though I'm attacking?
I think the trait is not. It must have to do with what's written in parentheses after the action. Hero action parentheses thwart. Hero action attack, but Sense of Justice probably says when paying for a bold trait thwart, right? It says thwart in bold like it's a trait. So probably you can pay for it.
So it says exhaust it to generate a mental resource for a bold thwart event.
Which is calling
I think
out
in this
trait.
instance you actually can, yes.
Yep.
Because it doesn't say when you're thwarting, it says you're paying for a thwart event. And even if you're not technically doing the thwart action on the card, you are paying for a thwart event.
So in that case, my Sense of Justice would be a punch to the face.
Sometimes that's what justice needs.
Yeah,
punch
exactly.
to the face.
There's got to be other cards in the game that are both attack and thwart traded, right?
Gamora has
some.
yeah.
Gamora. So, why are they in that question? What about this one makes it this question come up? Why didn't it before?
I don't know.
Because I think, at least with Gamora's, I think they are both. It is not an either or.
Oh, right.
Correct.
It says hero. It's all one statement. It says hero action thwart / attack all in one line.
Correct. Likewise with Vision. Vision,
okay.
solar beam or whatever.
Well, then maybe that distinction here is more meaningful.
Oh, Vision solar beam is written like adaptive plumage. It's a attack, superpower, and thwart traded, and it has two separate lines. Hero action attack, if Vision is a dense form, deal 7. Hero action thwart, if Vision is intangible, remove 5 threat. So it's got the same
so it's the same
format.
structure.
Yeah, so
maybe it was answered in the Vision FAQ then.
Oh yeah, possibly.
Huh.
Hey, interesting. All I hear is the hero is cheating more. So
yes,
that's exactly that is the appropriate takeaway here.
All right, some more cheating is
his next card, Aerial Agility, which is aerial and defense traded. Hero interrupt defense when an enemy attacks. If you are Angel, ignore each boost icon and each boost ability for this attack. If you're Archangel, give your hero a tough status card and gain Retaliate 1 for this attack. It only costs $1 to do this.
Yeah,
wow, it's pretty good.
And if you're an Angel form, you get to draw a card off it because you'll be playing an aerial event in the villain phase.
That's right. And otherwise, you get to deal a damage. So it's great for pinging a tough off or dealing a little bit of extra damage in the villain phase.
Yeah, It's actually a really great defense card because you know exactly what you're getting. If you're Archangel, you're not getting anything unless they happen to have piercing. But if you're Angel, you know, all right, here's a villain with an attack of 2. I'm taking 2. And boost icons and boost effects don't matter.
Yeah. Yeah, and Archangel's getting to effectively hit back for 2 because of retaliate 1 plus his ability to do 1 more damage. So
Yeah.
it's a good card either way.
It really is. I think the adaptive plumage too, when you talk about it's very expensive, but when you look at, hey, either you're drawing a card or you're dealing 3 extra damage because of the cost.
Yeah.
It looks way better, and you get a stun and a confuse. Right here, it's
Yeah.
like, well, it's a 1-cost event, but it also does a damage, or it's drawing you a card, so it's more like a 0-cost event. The cards feel way better given that you're triggering his ability when you play them.
Yeah. Shortest lived tough status card ever.
That's true.
I'm tough. No, you're not. It's those hollow bones. It's those hollow bones.
Hollow
Yeah.
bones.
It can take like a quick shock absorption, and that's it.
That's it.
No, that's his wing shield. That's his wing shield because he's in Archangel mode.
Oh,
They can take even a nuclear blast to the face.
Okay.
Which
or a punch from Hulk.
Yes,
okay.
but not crossbones with a weapon.
And now what all these 3 card shape changers need?
Free
What's that?
changing card.
That's right.
Well, yeah, a bonus change. Okay, so let's go through a metamorphosis.
All right, let me rip my skin off like the picture shows.
Yeah, what is
And
happening?
then-
Holy cow! Oh,
That's-
he's changing. His wings are coming out. The techno organic material.
Yeah, he's turning into Dark Angel. This is what it looks like.
Okay. All right. So this is a 2-cost aerial event with the action change form. Then, if you are Warren Worthington III, draw 1 card. Angel, remove 2 threat from a scheme. Archangel, deal 3 damage to an enemy. There's 2 of these. So you change form, and then you do the effect on the card. Then you get your response to either heal, draw another card, or do 2 damage. Right?
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
Can I ask a rules question? If I play Metamorphosis as Archangel, do I do the 2 damage?
No, you change form, resolve this card, then respond to this card in your new form.
Correct.
So,
But I paid
not an
for it
interrupt.
as Archangel, right?
It's not an interrupt, it's a response.
It's not an interrupt.
You can't trigger the response until after the event resolves.
Yeah, it's after you
play
it,
the event.
Okay, fine. Lame. Finally, the villains win.
Okay.
All right, well,
That's a good card.
I love this card.
It's
Yeah.
great.
It's fun when you can flip, do something, flip back, do something
Yes.
else, like really take advantage of the form flipping.
yeah. Steve, you were just Ant-Man the other night. Is his switcheroo card $2 or is this one more expensive?
His is 0.
All right. I thought that the 2 seemed pricey.
Yeah, his is 0. It lets you flip and you draw a card. That's all it does. So it replaces itself. It doesn't have any other effect on the ability. So,
But you can't flip to alter ego with resize, right? Resize can only change you from big to little or little to big. Whereas metamorphosis, you can change even to alter ego, take alter ego actions, and then flip back up.
And then get back to monster mode. Yeah.
Right. So it is more versatile than Ant-Man's, even though it's clearly more expensive.
Well,
and Ant-Man's also is a hero action, so you have to change to your other hero form. You can't use it to even flip from alter ego to Ant-Man. So this is action.
Yeah, and realistically, they don't have the space on it. But with the various hero and alter ego abilities, Warren Worthington III, it's draw 1 card and heal 1 damage. Angel, it's remove 2 threat and draw 1 card. Archangel, it's deal 3 damage to an enemy, then deal 2 damage.
That's nice.
Yeah, solid for a 2-cost card. Change form and deal 5 damage. Yeah.
This
guy seems all right.
great.
All right, Chris, give us the next one.
All right, so next up we've got Natural Flight. It is a 2-cost aerial and thwart event. Hero action, thwart, remove 4 threat from a scheme. If you are Angel, this thwart ignores the crisis icon and patrol keywords. This card is okay. It's 2-cost, 4 threat removal. Nothing.
Standard issue hero thwart card.
And I'll be honest, there are a few cards that do this. Oh, ignore the crisis icon or ignore patrol. That pretty much never comes up for me.
Just about to ask that, Chris. I have never once ever used that.
That has saved my life in several games.
Awesome. I'm so glad to hear
It can be critical at that one
It
moment
can.
that you need it to be. And 95% of the rest of the games, it makes no difference whatsoever.
It makes no difference.
Yeah.
That's great.
Now, does anybody feel like this thwarting, this poor citizen who was skiing is like really in trouble? I feel like Angels is flying up with him and just going to let him go. I feel like it's a little,
No,
I
I
mean,
thought,
a little violent.
I thought Angel was just sort of doing kind of like a, like a skydiving clinic.
I mean,
Oh,
that looks like a
okay.
bad touch hug to me.
This is clearly a mountaintop rescue. He's saving him from an avalanche
That's
of
something like
crime.
that. Yeah.
Got it. An avalanche.
Because he is in angel mode, so he's clearly nice. Now, I think it's funny that it's natural flight
As opposed to
So-
unnatural flight
as opposed to unnatural flight,
Yeah.
which I guess is, a car.
or metal wings.
They should have named his attack event that.
Unnatural flight.
uh,
Speaking of his
No.
attack event, whose turn?
Oh, I think it's Scott's.
so the major attack event he has is called Razor Dive. It is a 3-cost event with the aerial and attack traits. A hero action, attack, deal 6 damage to an enemy. If you are Archangel, this attack gains overkill and piercing. Apocalypse replaced Angel's natural wings with razor-sharp techno-organic ones.
I mean, really, this is 9 damage.
It really is 9 damage
Mhm.
with piercing and overkill. Well, it's 6 damage with piercing and overkill, and then 3 more damage somewhere else.
3 anywhere you want it. Yeah,
Yeah.
it doesn't
Yeah.
have to go to
Yeah.
the main target.
And this is going to be a classic example of cheaty heroes, because if he's got his wings out, he can reduce it by 2. But Archangel's ability specifically says printed cost,
Yep.
not
Right.
just cost. So you can pay for 1 and still get the benefit of the 3 extra damage. Cheaty heroes.
Clear designer hero bias for that.
Yeah.
Clearly.
They clearly wrote it that way on purpose.
Yeah. Now, I was, when I played Angel, quite happy to play natural flight when I was in Archangel form, because, it's nice to thwart 4 and do 2 damage.
Yeah.
But I never played Razor Dive unless I was in Archangel. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
That's
it
kinda
seems like
true.
you're missing out on too much if you don't.
you really are. It's like, okay, the card draw or whatever is nice, but no, the overkill, the piercing, like it's also just really
50
delicious.
50% more damage and overkill and piercing to flip forms.
I don't think I've ever played it in Angel form. And I've played Angel a lot, but I don't think I've ever played this card when I wasn't Archangel. Like, I totally forget that you can play it as Angel. It's just that, I mean, Archangel is on the card. It feels like you have to.
Yep.
I mean, 3 for 6 if you had to play it as Angel, right? It really becomes 2 for 6 because you draw a card.
It does.
If you had a guard minion you had to get rid of, or there was a big guy, or some for some reason you multiplayer game, you're trying to play it out of turn to help somebody across the board, it might be worth it. But that overkill and
Or
piercing,
I guess
tempting.
you've already flipped to your Angel form.
Right.
Someone
Yeah.
gives you a card draw, like, oh, this shows up.
Right.
Yeah, you could be looking to play it
Good.
twice. Once as Angel and once as Archangel too, right? If you use his resource, his hero specific resource card.
If only there was a way to get your events back like that, Scott.
That would be too
Do you want to tell us
cheaty.
about that, Daniel?
Wait, I mean, this guy's cheatier? Oh my goodness, look at this. Avian Anatomy, resource, response. After you spend this wild resource card to pay for an aerial event, return that event to your hand after resolving its effects. Wow.
Man,
Cool.
not only is that super cheaty, but they also missed out. This card should definitely be called Hollow Bones, not Avian Anatomy.
Truth.
Like, this card is crazy good.
It's so good, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's-
I just paid for Razor Dive. I put it back in my hand. I can do it. Like, yeah.
Miss Marvel has to exhaust, to use her whole exhaust to get a
Mhm.
card back. And here you just use a resource.
Yeah. And then if you're an Angel form, you also get to draw a card off of that as well. There have been games where I played Metamorphosis like two, or if I had 2 of them on my hand, I end up doing 3 Metamorphoses in a
Uh-huh.
round.
Likewise.
Cheater.
It's so strong.
Yeah.
Well, and his kit has 10 aerial events. And if you're going to build your deck, you're probably putting in a couple more, right, from the aspect. So Avian
Mhm.
Anatomy has plenty of targets.
So many.
Yep.
Yeah. All right, we're wrapping up the kit here. Psylocke.
All right, so Psylocke, aka Betsy Braddock, is Angel's signature ally. She is 3 cost, has 1 thwart and 1 attack. Both of those take 1 consequential damage, and 3 hit points. She has the Psionic and X-Force trait, and her attack has an asterisk. It says hero response. After Psylocke attacks, if you are Angel, heal 1 damage from Psylocke. Archangel, ready your hero. So if you're in angel form, she is darn near immortal.
Mm-hmm.
Is that magic blood?
Yep. And Archangel, you can, ready up and just die bomb again for more.
Yeah. Or you defended with your 3 defense last turn.
Yep.
Brings you back up. She's a great ally.
Mm-hmm.
A wonderful signature ally.
Yeah, she's one that didn't come up a lot when Sidekick came out, but she is such an amazing target for Sidekick.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's a good
Like
call.
being able to use side by side to ready them both. If you're an Archangel, then you can use Archangel, then use Psylocke, and then ready Archangel again. Like,
oh my goodness,
it's such a good partnership.
Yeah, that's my deck. That's my deck is just it's an ally buff deck. It's keep an angel form and just get her up to like 4 or 5 attack and just go to town. Now, I would note that just for play, you have to remember the first damage goes through.
Right.
And then after that, she heals the damage and then consequential damage comes on. It's the same thing as what? Tigra? I think that's the same effect.
Consequential is the last thing you do. The hero response occurs before consequential.
Yeah.
You do. Steve, you know what it's like to be young and in love, right?
I vaguely remember those days.
Steve, you might even be old enough to have had a mullet like that.
Oh, no, not me. Not me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, to have had hair.
Yeah, I mean, I did have hair, but not quite like that. You're right, though. So this is the Soaring Hearts event. This is the team-up card for Angel and Psylocke. It's Aerial and Psionic, which helps both of them. And then hero action, search your discard pile for an identity-specific event and add it to your hand, ready Angel and Psylocke. So this is one of those team-up cards. I think this is a good one. I mean, you can go fetch out whatever card you want and ready both of your characters. As we just mentioned, that's good. So,
and if you're an Archangel, you can do 2 damage with your Soaring Heart as well.
That's right.
Wow. Yeah.
Well, can you? Because it says Angel and Psylocke.
That's true. You cannot. You'd have to be in
Cannot be
Angel.
Archangel.
You're right.
You have, yes, that's the key here. Is you have to be Angel. So,
wow, I never thought of that.
yeah, they're very specific with who the team ups are on.
Interesting.
Right? Yeah.
I guess she doesn't love Archangel, only Angel.
That's what I
She
was
doesn't.
thinking,
She
Chris.
doesn't.
She doesn't love Archangel.
No, it's not unconditional love.
It's the
She
hair.
readies him because she tells him to go away. She's like, get out of here, Archangel. And that's what readies him after
I mean,
she
to be fair, she did stab Archangel with a Celestial Life Seed, so there's probably a little bitterness there.
Yeah.
I'm really liking the theme.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's the kit. It's interesting. It's our first real use of aerial, I feel like, right? We've had some aerial cards with Nova. He had some bits, but this guy takes it to all new heights.
Oh, very good.
But
we've had aerial since the very beginning. Captain Marvel had useless aerial.
Right.
Iron Man.
Yep. Iron Man had some aerial. Yep. His was important. Yeah. I mean, there's been a little bit along the way, right? But
yeah, this is the first one that they actually gave us some aerial traded cards.
Yeah.
Right.
This is the first one where it really matters a lot.
I think Angel presents quite a challenge to our beloved villains.
Mm-hmm.
Agreed.
He's a very powerful hero. And part of how I think he beats our villains is that he bores them to death. Let me explain. Angel is fun to play, somewhat dull to build for. In that I feel like, and this, I'm probably complaining more about my lack of creativity than I'm complaining about the game. But it's like, you go on to Marvel CDB, you click traits, you type in aerial, and you throw those cards. Aspect is. And so, I don't know, I feel like his whole deck is almost pre-built with the aerial cards and the things that would help pay for them. And again, I'm probably hating on myself more
Well, let's look at some of these decks then. Let's talk about them. Daniel, do you want to go first and tell us about your...
Sure, I'll go first. I built an aggression deck, and this one seems maybe even more scripted than other Angel decks. Because I felt like when I built an Angel Justice deck for Con of Heroes, it was maybe I thought I was more clever, but this one is oof. It's those aggression aerial events, bombs away. I mean, you all know them, right? Bombs away, dive bomb, and pitch back. All those great things. They really love the cost reduction that he gets. And so basically I did an aggression deck that pulls monsters to him and then does damage to multiple enemies in front of you as the engaged player or whatever. So it's just a whole bunch of aerial traded cards and being able to pay for that. That's kind of it. The only fun card I put in was Moment of Triumph because I like that one, which is after you attack and defeat an enemy, heal a damage from your hero for each point of excess dealt. And when you can, hit for 6 with your card, like he just does a lot of damage.
I see you have Chase Them Down in there as well.
I do have Chase Them Down, which is like kicking it old school. So I was. Oh, go ahead.
I would suggest maybe I think sometimes Chase Them Down you need, but given that his kit has so much thwart in it, I think you could even maybe swap those for Bring It. Did you think about throwing in a Bring It since you've got that? I love the get over here with the aerial trait since he's always aerial.
No, that's a good idea.
Bring It could get you some more card draw.
Right.
Once you
your question answered itself, Scott, when you said, "Did you think?"
That's not true.
Oh, Daniel.
Hey, I will say I want to give you a lot of credit for not including Home Technique in this.
Oh, I don't like those cards.
I do too.
Very much.
Well, Bombs Away isn't an attack event, so it doesn't get the bonus, right?
It is an aerial card. It is an aerial
right,
event.
But it's aerial card. It triggers on aerial things that he has and can do. It's cheaper.
Right, exactly. But you don't want Home Technique with it, is my point.
Yeah. Oh, I see what you're saying.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Bombs Away does
Angel
not
Aggression most of the time seems like it's just dive bomb and Home Technique and win.
Yeah.
Yeah. I played hit recently with a Brian V Home Technique dive bomb deck, and I didn't get the combo set up to like the end game though. So it was.
But then it really was the end game.
Yeah, I was like, all right, okay, now I can do.
Because once you get it, it's over.
Yeah. It's over. So
I mean, the villain was already down low, and it was like, all right, hey, I did get to do it once. So, and that was the whole deck.
Yeah. But Scott, that's a good point. Like he does thwart a lot just naturally, and But I also, like I said, when I played him in Justice, I spent a lot of time hanging out in Archangel mode, and I wasn't all that worried about the acceleration icon. To be honest, didn't matter much to me because of the thwart that he can do kind of naturally.
Yeah.
So there's my aggression deck. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that's kind of interesting about it. I don't know. I mean, it really put itself together so fast that it was like, ugh.
We'll link all the decks we talk about too, so you can find them and go check them out.
But I do want to say he is fun to pilot. I do enjoy
pilot. Good word.
Oh, that was good, wasn't it? Yeah, I do enjoy the act of playing Angel. But it says something that I can spend 7 minutes and build this, and it probably will be very effective.
It does.
And I think I'm very curious to hear your guys and your decks and how you thought about them, put them together, and if it was harder, just as easy, if you have a similar complaint or not. So please guide me,
I think
Obi-Wans.
There's some cool stuff in there. I love things like being able to play Avian Anatomy to like pay for a pitch back. And then you get the pitch back and then you can play it again, and it's just so easy to do so much damage so fast. I love what you put together here. It's clean, straightforward, not a lot of upgrades or supports. He's got lots of resources. Looks great. It looks fun.
Well, I appreciate that. Thank you.
All right, who's next?
Looks like you, if we're going in order.
Oh, okay. I'll go next. It's fine. I had to do the green protection.
I know how that makes you feel dirty and cheap.
I know, right? Like, yeah. Anyways, the hope was to take advantage of Archangel or Angel's ability that says per phase, so to do stuff in the villain phase.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Now I put in more upgrades and supports and a player side scheme in there. I put in that superpower training so you could get the techno-organic wings as quick as possible. I found I don't like Angel being stunned or confused, so I threw in a Night Nurse. There's Weapon X to go fetch for stuff when you flip to Alter Ego. Team building exercise because he's aerial and all his cards are aerial. So, trying to get that resource generation going. Lots of stuff on the table so that I can take multiple actions both in the villain phase and the hero phase. Also, Ready to Rumble upgrade. When you change form, discard it to ready your hero. So you can take multiple actions, right? And the other cards, like you talked about, your basic upgrades and stuff. But
Steve, you're missing one upgrade that I think would be great.
Which is?
I think it comes in Nightcrawler. It's like when you kill something in the villain phase, you get stuff.
Yeah.
Because you do a lot of damage.
Change of fortune.
Counter punches and powerful punches and that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Okay. Change your fortune. I'll throw it in there before we link the deck.
Yeah, I think that would be a good addition here.
I try to do that, retaliate kind of thing with some other cards too. I tried using the aerial intervention. There's 6 allies in there. They're all aerial. I tried utilizing Warpath, where his effect is, in case you haven't ever used Warpath, because I had not. Hero response after Warpath defends against an attack. Play an event with the hero action ability from your hand, paying its cost, which I pulled a Daniel the first time. I didn't read the whole card, but paying the cost.
No, he's really great if you don't pay the cost.
Yeah, it's really good.
You're like, this guy is amazing. Yeah. Why doesn't everyone use Warpath?
Yeah, exactly.
But if you can keep him going, like if he can take some small attacks from minions, I mean, he's tough to start with. You might be able to get a couple cards off in the villain phase, right?
Steve, what would be your most favorite Warpath moment? Like where you actually trigger that hero response after he defends and stuff. Like I'm trying to think like when you would use it, how you would use it.
Oh, so I was using it to either kill off a minion before the minion got to attack, right? Like Warpath defends the villain, he's got tough, and you play it, you kill off a minion so the minion doesn't get to hit you, or use it to thwart in the villain phase before he schemes against the next player, or to remove threat from a side scheme that's giving minions in the set surge or toughness or those sorts of things where it's like every hound gets that kind of thing. So
that's neat. I mean, you are limited to green cards, kind of.
Yeah, it was fairly inconsistent.
Sure.
I don't know. It was protection.
Well, you can play. One of the benefits is that you can really play his hero-specific cards and still double up on your trigger, right? So if you're Archangel and you play Adaptive Plumage, deal 4 damage, deal 3 more damage, and stun the villain for the next player, and then on your turn, you use your wings and play another 3-cost event, or like a Ever Vigilant or something, and do 2 more damage on your turn, like you're really maximizing the effects you get.
Yeah. Yep. I think the deck needs a little tweak. I played it a couple times. It needs a little tweak, but the idea is there. So
I think Warpath is amazing after Scott's story there.
Yeah, and you can with multiplayer, you can trigger. You can defend for most of your team between your regular defense, then Warpath, and then use Warpath to pay for Ever Vigilant. You ready yourself up, remove 2 threat, and then you can defend for somebody else.
Yeah.
And then the new Maria Hill shows up with the helicarrier that just keeps giving Warpath toughness.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh, that's a great idea. Throwing in the Pericles.
Yeah. Cool deck, Steve. I like it.
Yeah,
thanks.
Me too.
I'm revisiting Warpath in my mind. I think I always freaked out about him because it's like, okay, I do his ability, then I really have no player turn.
Yeah.
Probably, right? Like,
yeah. You need resource
maybe you don't need a player turn if this nonsense is happening during villain phase.
Yeah, you do need some resource generation.
This would be a fun deck in multiplayer.
Agreed. Right, you, Chris, what did you bring for us?
So I am bringing a leadership deck. I thought it was really interesting that they gave us another 3-form hero. So I decided to say, what if I ignored that and just dealt with 2?
Nice.
I said, not today, Satan, for Archangel. And we went with, we're just going to stick with Warren Worthington and Angel.
All right.
So the leadership deck I have is basically built around Cannonball and Psylocke, because Cannonball, the ally, he takes 2 consequential damage for anything he does, but that's reduced by the number of aerial cards in your hand. Since Angel has a lot of aerial cards in his hand, you're likely going to get many, many turns where Cannonball takes 0 consequential damage for anything he does.
It is crazy, yes.
And Psylocke, if you're in Angel form, she'll take that first damage, but she'll always heal herself up when she attacks, so she's not gonna ever go away. So that's when you throw things like Inspired, Sidearm. I do have Children of the Atom in here to give them the X-Men trait, so I can throw Danger Room training on them. And then you've got things like Cell Phone and Leadership Skill, which also bumps them up. And in the case of Cannonball, you can also use Soaring Acrobatics. So if you get them fully upgraded out with Inspired and Danger Room training and Sidearm, and you use Cell Phone, Inspired, and Soaring Acrobatics, like Cannonball's hitting for like 9, or no, not that much, like 7, something like that. And Psylocke's hitting for like 6. And so all Angel has to do is sit back and thwart.
Now,
Nice.
It is really awesome.
Guys, I have a question. Like, I own a cell phone. It doesn't make me that much better.
One might argue it makes you worse.
Well, you have to understand this was
What am I missing about an X-Man cell phone?
This is a 90s cell phone, so it's the Nokia brick.
It's a Nokia.
Well, I get how
And
that
so
can
you
help with
use
your
that to
attack because the thing
punch.
was the size of a battle axe. But how does it help you thwart?
I think the idea is that
You call the cops?
when you are with your allies on the
I can call
field,
the cops from
you
anywhere.
are more effective. So they can, it's kind of like making the call to somebody else to use their hero or their ally. So you're making a call and they're going to go do a thing with an
These
advantage.
days, Scott, doesn't everyone have a cell phone? So then really no one has a cell phone?
No, we're just always constantly connected to our eternal detriment.
My 12-year-old would argue that no, not everybody has a cell phone these days.
My 11-year-old also will argue that. I think Scott's got it right. You're facing the guy down. You make the call. You're like, okay, attack from the back. I have him distracted, and then you jump out from the alleyway and you punch that guy, or you grab his stuff and run away with it. I assume that's how you work.
I just feel like a cell phone is just not the best way to communicate. I mean, that ties up one of your hands.
But you as with most of us grew up in the day and age where you used like 2-way radios. And this is a Jubilee card, and Jubilee is like a Gen Xer, and a 2-way radio is like old-timey technology.
Right. I would rather that she had a pager. I wish this was pager, not cell phone.
Like she's a
Daniel's
doctor.
more of a semaphore kind of guy.
You call me, I won't call you.
Yeah. All right, kids. So a pager was a thing that existed before cell phones, and
it was a little tiny answering machine.
And you use codes like 911 or 811 or 711 to have people call you back.
My Lord.
Oh gosh.
Kids don't understand.
All right, finish talking about your deck, Chris.
Yeah, tell us more about your deck.
Got derailed by the old guy complaining about modern technology.
I distracted you. I'm sorry.
So, where's that cloud for Daniel to yell at?
There you go.
Yep.
I got the heart of a graph.
So,
turns out it's Cannonball up in the sky.
Well, there's even someone named Cloud9. That's
Cloud9.
Yeah,
that's true. We have Cloud9. That's right.
I'm screaming at her.
I like your inclusion of Cloud9.
Well, it could help with thwarting, especially with Cannonball. Again, you can get him up to like a 6 or 7 thwart. But ultimately, she has the aerial trait, so it's just packing the aerial cards. So I can trigger Cannonball, and oh look, there's Get Ready, so I can ready him and do it again and again and again.
Wow, this seems pretty cheaty, Chris.
Yep, and again, Rich Boy doesn't want to get his hands dirty, so he pays people to go punch others for him.
I do like the name of your deck. I have people for that. That's good.
It's a great title.
Good,
All right, so I think that's leaves Scott.
I like this one. This one looks fun. I'm going to give it a go.
It does. I'm going to play this one for sure.
I feel a 4-player Angel game coming on.
Yeah. Four angels.
4 angels.
It won't last very long.
Yeah. Well, I brought a Justice deck, which, as Daniel, you were already highlighting, um, doesn't necessarily always seem like you need the extra thwart. All right, so we have Justice for Archangel. This is obviously a Justice deck. The idea of the deck is that we're going to spend most of our time as possible in Archangel. So we're going to be putting additional threat on the main scheme, and we're not going to use our hero's thwart. So we want thwart events to help offset the lack of basic thwart power in our hero, with the trade-off of ideally being able to trigger Archangel's additional bonus damage for 3 pretty much every turn. So with Agile Flight, Adaptive Plumage, and Razor Dive, you have 7 cards in the deck that are a 3 cost that you ideally can hit. I have played Agile a bunch where you put in a ton of resource generators because there's a lot that you can use. And I find that I just don't really need them most of the time. I think X-Gene is an easy one for him to get out because you can flip down to Alter Ego with Metamorphosis, play it, and then like flip back up again, or flip down and play it and use it to pay for Metamorphosis, and then go back up into your hero forms. Really easy to get X-Gene down. I think Weapon X, like you included, Steve, is also really easy to use with him.
I like
Other
your
than that,
inclusion of IPAC. IPAC's
yes,
one of my favorite cards. Yeah.
I think his hero kit is so strong and versatile that he doesn't care if the villain gets an extra card.
Yeah.
And a lot of
The
times
hero gets 2, the villain only gets 1. It's totally unbalanced.
exactly. And with Angel's cards, that really is the case. Especially if you don't have an aerial, taking an encounter card to dig for 2 more cards to try to get one is probably worth it. Plus, with Worthington Industries, you can shuffle one in before you do the IPAC. So he really, having that extra card draw at the offset of an encounter card, I don't think it really bothers him that much.
Yeah.
Because he has so many ways to deal with whatever the villain is doing. The big thing, this deck is pretty straightforward. Again, like you said, it's just a lot of stuff, right? I've got team building exercise in there because it's cheap, effectively resource generator. It's not really, but it's going to get your cards out for cheaper. So the most important thing in this deck, I feel like, is getting out Under Surveillance early. So in your first deck pass, the 2 cards you want out are Under Surveillance and your Techno-Organic Wings. And Under Surveillance is more important. I would hold Techno-Organic Wings in my hand and play Under Surveillance in most instances rather than the other way around, because the deck has a lot of burst thwart. You have Agile Flight, you have Lay Down the Law, you have your Natural Flight, you have Adaptive Plumage. There's a lot of ways to remove threat. And so in Archangel, you're going to see threat go on in bigger chunks, and you want to have a little bit of extra wiggle room so that you can take it down in big chunks. Is kind of the mentality that I had in building the deck, especially with using the IPAC. He might scheme and then get in advance. So I wanted to have a little extra wiggle room so you don't lose to an unexpected scheme.
Nice.
And still be able to do all the fun stuff with Angel. So that was sort of the core of it. There's a few cards in there you could easily swap out. The one way or another are often great in solo, but not so great in multiplayer where the side schemes have a ton of threat on them, or if you're playing a scenario that doesn't have a lot of side schemes, I would just cut them. Sense of Justice, you could throw some more in if you're playing multiplayer. Generation X is the other sort of tech card I put in. I think that with Angel, as you get later in the game, sometimes in Justice, you might be getting a lot of thwart events and not have a good attack. So I threw that in there just mid to late game if you want to go grab a Razor Dive and bounce it with Avian Anatomy and do 18 damage in a turn, or, I guess not quite that much, 15 damage in a turn, you can. So that's the gist of it. I played it the other night and it was super fun.
Yeah, it looks good. It's got a bunch of fun stuff in it.
Yeah, it definitely does. I mean, I like Lay Down the Law is great for any of the 3 form heroes.
Yeah.
Of just 1 cost, remove 3 or 4 threat for just doing what you're gonna do anyway. And then
if you have that sense of justice out already, it's great.
Yeah. And Agile Flight in Archangel, I mean, yeah, it costs 3, but 5 threat from among schemes, and then you can do 3 damage off it.
Right.
And you can realistically, you can get it down to a 1 cost event with your wings.
Correct.
So is there a justice? There's like an aerial event after you thwart?
Yeah, yaw and roll.
Yaw and roll,
Correct.
is that what it is?
Yeah.
I did
needed,
not
huh?
include it because one, you have to have already thwarted,
Yeah.
and I'm not using my basic thwart, and a lot of times that's how you can more reliably make sure that you can use yaw and roll. But I'm planning to attack with Archangel because I'm planning to be an Archangel in this deck, so it's
Right.
not as
Okay.
easy to trigger yaw and roll. And then it only costs a 1, so you're not getting that damage boost off of it like with Agile Flight. So I just tried to stick. I feel like Lay Down the Law is more reliable threat removal with him than yaw and
Yeah.
roll.
Yeah, I agree.
That was
Okay.
kind of my reasoning. But yeah, you are absolutely right. If somebody wanted to include that, they certainly could.
No, they're not allowed to edit this deck in any way.
Yeah, I was looking, like everybody, when you're building an angel deck, you look at, well, what aerial cards are there? And in just this one that I still have yet to find a place, even like with Archangel or Angel who loves his aerial cards, is that Eyes in the Sky
Oh gosh.
one. So it's a 0 cost upgrade and it's a preparation card. Like when you reveal a non-elite minion, exhaust an aerial character you control and discard this card to cancel the effects of the card and discard it, and then reveal another card. So a non-elite minion is generally the smaller guys. Why would I want to discard them for another random card?
Yeah.
Yeah, there might be some edge cases for that where all the little guys are guard or patrol, or you really don't have a lot of attack in your deck, so you're like, give me the side schemes instead of the
Yeah,
minions. Maybe.
I'm at 1 hit point and this is a quick strike minion, but
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, quick strike. Yeah, I bet there's something. I bet there's a scenario out there where this is helpful.
I'm sure there is. Like as a tech card, if there's minions, non-elite minions who have either like have quick strike or have a when revealed effect that's particularly brutal, you might want it.
Yeah.
I mean,
But it has to be non-unique or non-elite.
yeah, non-elite. But
Yeah.
for example, Harpoon has a pretty brutal when revealed effect, and you might want to dodge that. So
you can't dodge Harpoon though, especially not as Angel. He's got you pinned. No. I find it interesting, Scott, that you and I basically took the same tact, just with the different forms. I'm going to lean into his thwart side and have other things handle my damage. You lean into his damage side, and I'll do other things that take care of thwart.
That's right. Because I'm evil, and you want to be pretty boy rich kid.
Yeah.
With
Also
a god
evil.
complex.
All right, so what do we think of Angel overall? Let's wrap it up here. We've been talking for a while. Let's give our overall thoughts. I'll go first. I think Angel is a character that is fun to play. The villains better watch out. Clearly, there are some versatile decks and some options. You can go thwart, you can go attack, protection, leadership. Right, there's a lot of choices. I had not thought about the sidekick option with Psylocke, so I'm going to look back at that. I think the power level is high. I am fearful of the Angel and the Archangel as a villain.
So villain, yeah, this guy's he's a cheaty hero. He's like the ultimate poster child cheaty hero. I'm curious, like, what villains work best against him? What mod sets can we use to control and contain this fella? What are things he's vulnerable to? That's what these things are about, right, Steve? That's why we do these things.
Yeah.
How do we limit? Because we're all going to agree with what you said about Angel, the hero. Like, all those things are true. What can we do?
Probably status effects.
Yeah.
Okay.
He does not have any native way to remove those. The one thing I was thinking was Taskmaster punishes you for flipping. So if you were to play Taskmaster with some of the newer modular sets that are just a little tougher, that might be helpful. Even something like Hounds, where there's a lot of guard and they're forcing you to flip. If you're playing guard, if you're playing Hounds with Taskmaster and you're hiding out as Warren Worthington, they'll force you to flip. You'll take damage, and then they're sitting there as a guard as well. So, I mean, that's an interesting option, I think.
I think you need Taskmaster with super strength to give him steady, and with the experimental weapon set so that he has the ability to get ranged and piercing.
Yeah.
Honestly, so you can block his stuns and confuses, you can get piercing through his tough, and you can avoid his retaliate, and you take damage every time you flip.
Yeah, from my perspective, I look at it as I don't. There isn't a good inherent option. because it depends on which version you're bringing. So, like for my version with the leadership, he would probably run into trouble if there are a lot of minions, because my goal is to just buff up one or two allies and not do much with Angel and not do much with his event.
So
but
the
if
villain
you're
can flood
running
the board on you.
but if you're running the dive bomb aggression, well, you love minions. Same thing with, oh, well, I'm going to do something that has just got lots of guard or side schemes. If you're doing all aggression, yeah, that may not work. But if you're doing a justice, or even like mine, focus more on the thwarting side of things, no, you're fine there. He's too adaptive.
Yeah.
And I'm not just talking about his plumage.
His plumage. I got it.
It is beautiful plumage, though.
I think you need to put a whole bunch of obligations on him. All those mod sets that make him tap out to get rid of horrible stuff.
Yep. You could also play Thanos with the gauntlet and snap away half his deck. So
Yeah, that's
he doesn't
true.
have all his cards.
We're just Ronin.
Yeah, a lot of activations could, not, I suppose, not quite up to the Ronin level of constant activations, but just a lot of multiple activations. But that's true of most heroes. Is if you hit them enough, they're gonna get hurt.
Yeah,
I don't know. He's good.
Yeah,
he's good.
He's good.
Chris is right.
He's definitely up there.
No matter what aspect you put him in, he's adaptive enough to deal with multiple things the villain's going to throw at him.
So cheaty.
Yep. So now we have to come up with, not now necessarily, the ultimate anti-angel villain mod combo and put it out there.
Sounds like a challenge.
Yeah, I'll have to get back to you on that one. It's. I'll tell you though, it'll center entirely on a Harpoon.
Well,
I think that's a good one, actually.
Yeah, not bad.
Basically, getting your Nemesis out often and frequently is a pretty good one.
Well, all right, guys. Thanks for coming on tonight to talk all about Harpoon's Nemesis hero. Scott, thanks for coming back. There is some work for you to do in the back room, so you're going to have to get to that while Chris gets to stay up front here with us, since
it was nice to make them share the chair, though.
Yeah, time. That was fun to watch them squirm together.
Cheek to cheek there.
Yeah. Yep.
I'll just sit on your lap next time, okay?
That's what I was gonna say.
Is that a harpoon in your pocket, or are you just happy to see me?
I mean, it's a harpoon. I mean,
it is a harpoon.
If we know
makeup,
yes,
it's a harpoon.
Yeah. All right. Well, I better wrap this up before it degrades any further. If you have hollow bones and you want to tell us how that improves your physical physique, please let us know. You can email us at criticalencounterspod@gmail.com. We're Critical Encounters on Facebook. And you can find our YouTube, Twitch, or Patreon by searching for Critical Encounters Podcast. And on Discord, we are Vardane, Big Foam Loaf, Lexicon, and Maka. Don't forget to check out the Night of the Living card game YouTube channel that Chris has. It's wonderful. And if you like our show, tell your friends. If you don't like our show, tell your enemies. Angel, take us out.
Just relax and enjoy the flight. So, let's go through a metamorphosis.
Wait, isn't it my card?
Oh, is it yours? I'm sorry.
Okay, so let's go through a metamorphosis.